that many people talk about a shift that is happening in consciousness right now. There are outcomes that we can choose collectively. We can either continue to believe that we are not angelic souls, and that this is the paradigm that we must continue to follow under those 72 fallen angels. And the serpent of DNA will be metaphorically bound, it is said in some of the Christian scriptures. You see this happening already. Within science, we are able to now begin to master the use of DNA. We are beginning to use this serpent of DNA and bind it to be able to prevent diseases within the body, to be able to create food genetically, plants, enhance their vitamins. And we are beginning to bind the DNA serpent, but it is still there. We can choose number one. And this is an outcome that has been seen by some in ancient texts. They said that one of the outcomes is the serpent of DNA can be bound. There will be a period of peace, but there will still be death and suffering, perceptions of death and suffering. And at the end of that era, we will plunge again into another era of darkness. Now this has been going on for millions of years. And the Hindus knew this. They call them the yugas. The Kali Yuga, the Sattva Yuga, the different ages of cycles of enlightenment and darkness. These cycles continue because we are continuously bound to DNA as a race of angelic offspring. And those eras will continue to just perpetuate within the self. Another outcome is the serpent of DNA is slain. We hear about this a lot in Christian terminology. That Christ will gather his angels and they will cleanse the earth from the realms of suffering. And there will be a new heaven and a new earth. This new heaven and this new earth is also talked about by Eckhart Tolle. It is a new heaven and a new earth, a new self, where there is no longer brought to it perceptions of suffering and death, but it is returned again to the everlasting life, the state of innocence, with an angelic state of innocence with which it was before these 72 created this paradigm of suffering. That is an option too, to cleanse these realms. And hopefully that will happen. That's the option that I want to see to happen, because whatever perceptions are brought, as long as there is these lower realms exist within the self that we are as one, we will continuously receive perceptions of suffering and death when this is not necessary, until we evolve beyond this and realize that we are doing this to our own selves. How will the one self choose to evolve? Well, we have to first ask, who is choosing the course of the self's evolution? Neil Donald Walsh, again in Conversations with God, when he asked, why is death and suffering part of our experience? God said, I did not create your souls to die or suffer within time and space. That's your choice. You have done this. And I used to ask, I did this? I don't see how I could have done this, but I just find myself in the midst of it. Well, it is happening through three parts of the self. One is the angelic realms of angels who do not participate in this practice that the 72 are. They allow these realms to exist within the self that we all share. And as such, suffering and perceptions of suffering are given to the one self that flows through all things and that flows through them. They are indirectly receiving it as well, because there is nothing that transpires within time and space that does not make up time and space itself. We are one unified matrix. So they allow these realms to exist. And because of that, that is what the one self is receiving. And they are receiving it because they are connected to the one self. All within duality is connected to the universal field, or the field of the one, the matrix of the one. Another reason why is number two, the 72 fallen angels who have created these realms over the last 4.5 billion years at least, and have done this, refuse to evolve beyond their egocentric practice. They remain in the light of the angelic realm and allow a paradigm to exist that they have created with the tool of DNA, and they allow these realms to exist because they see that although they know they are one with all things, they also see themselves as so separate within time and space from that which gives them life, that they are not self-centric, and they care more about their own perceptions than they would the perceptions they are giving the self through this practice. And last of all, you are choosing this because you are refusing to know who you are. Now, when I say you, I'm talking about all the people who are embodied in this realm who do not believe that they have a soul that is angelic and that can forever live. You that believe that when you die, that this incarnation, you must give it to another soul. You that are in the higher planes, that are working in groups and continuously creating incarnations out of the one self that we are and sending them into these realms and believing that this is the way you must evolve. You are refusing to know who you are as the deathless angelic microcosm within the macrocosm. You are not humans. You are angels. All souls are angels. You are evolving this way because the ones who have begotten us, the 72, have chosen this paradigm. And it is something that is bringing suffering to the primal essence that flows through all things. And these are the reasons why there are death and suffering within the world, within the self right now. And hopefully, like Eckhart Tolle talks about in The Power of Now and in his book A New Heaven and a New Earth, just like Neil Donald Walsh talks about in his Conversations with God books, hopefully eventually we will evolve beyond this by choosing to stop it. And you can choose that. You exist within time and space now. And as long as you are able to act for yourself and do not relinquish that to another soul that says, I am your higher self, you have the ability to change this paradigm. Especially when you are released from your physical embodiment of a DNA body.